one of the most important stories of my life was when that happened, when I finally had that opportunity to get sponsorship, which meant that I would have enough money to take care of the bills. It meant that I was able to get a coach, pay a coach, also travel to tournaments, and also get things like a good laptop, to be able to get good internet, pay for all the extras that I needed, databases that I needed, what real chess players were doing. We're talking about the late 90s. So, these things were special commodity, priceless stuff you need to have. Tiger won in April of 97. I find out somewhere in May or May-ish that I'm going to get sponsorship. And there was a principal at a school, Barbara Guy, one of the schools I coached at. And we had talked and we were friends, and I told her the following year I wouldn't be back. And I told her why. And she understood, right? And I said, but I have to say, I do feel a little bit guilty that I'm leaving the kids because I love this work. I love coaching kids, but I really need to become a grandmaster. And I'll never forget these words. We were in a taxi leaving the school late. She said these words to me. She said, Maurice, we need you to go out and excel, because when you do that, you're going to come back and give even more. In fact, you're going to be capable of giving even more to the community. And that just freed me completely. I was like, wow, of course. Because as a grandmaster, I bring a certain amount of credibility. I'm able to articulate the needs of the people I'm working with, of the kids I'm working with, so much better, so much more. People listen to you in a completely different way. And when I did do that, and I made history, and I was in all the newspapers and getting all these interviews, I was able to open up a Harlem Chess Center. People bought into the ideas a little bit differently when you're on another tier. And that's just a fact. So it's not that you're siphoning from the community, it's that you are putting yourself on a level where you're able to give to that community even more so, because you've added to your professionalism, your credibility, and even your ability yourself, because you've made those breakthroughs to be able to go, oh, you know what? I wasn't even doing it the right way before I got to this level. Now I see an even better way to do it. And so building up yourself is just absolutely beneficial for anyone who wants to give back.
Yeah, that is a great story, and that's helpful for the mental calculus of just buying. It's not siphoning. It is essentially combining forces, and like you said, no man is an island, and you'll starve yourself if you go long enough of thinking that you don't need help, or you shouldn't ask for it.
You also disconnect, right? You disconnect because
right.
What you're saying is you don't want the community to invest in you, but a community wants to invest in its heroes, or in its people who will be able to build the community even more so, even if only by example, right? So many people want to have great role models. I mean, there are communities that are desperate for great role models, for people they can look at and say, look, this person made it, you can too. And there's people power, there's inspirational power in someone who comes from small town USA, inner city Brooklyn, makes good, and comes back and inspires those who are in the community, say, well, if this person can do it growing up where we know he grew up, or she grew up, then I can do it too. What do we need to do to make that happen? And they're not going to do it in your field. Likely, they're going to do it in other fields as well. So there is power in that. And it means that the community does want to invest in its aspirational stars. I mean, it just wants to. You might think about the people who don't want to go anywhere and do anything. It's like, yeah, okay. But the ones who are like, listen, I got big plans. And these big plans are going to impact my life for sure, but potentially impact the community as well. Yeah, you go right ahead. They'll give you either financial support, they give you verbal support, they'll make connections happen, because this one, watch out, this one's special.
Right.
He or she is going places. That's what you want that to be the case. In truth, what you're doing when you don't do that is you're isolating yourself from the very community that you want to help.